All right, hey everybody, this is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. We're going to look at the rating systems for Back to Basics, and it's a letter grade system. Now, pitchers have only, let me see, A, B, C, D, and F. So they have five letter grades for their pitching ability, I guess their ERA, their whip, their hits allowed, that sort of thing. I guess I'm not exactly sure what that letter represents, but of course, the better pitchers have a higher letter, the worst pitchers have a lower letter. Base on balls, the higher the letter, the fewer you allow. Strikeouts, the higher the letter, the more you allow, the more you collect. And then, of course, in this column where it says end, this is how deep you can go into the game. And of course, it's until you allow a hit or a walk, I believe. Now, if you scroll to the side here, you will see that the pitchers have injury, range, error, and the side they throw from. So that's it for pitchers. You get every player. It starts off with the pitcher who offered the or completed the most innings, and it goes down to the pitcher who completed the fewest. That's the back to basics, Downey Games pitcher rating system. Let's look at the batter rating system. A little bit more complex. Um, let's start off with here on the right. Oh, you know what? I didn't even need this section. Here on the right, you're going to have the home runs. The two biggest home run hitters for the Mets were Strawberry and I believe Howard, and that's true. So Strawberry is a B plus, and Howard is a B. Then you have Kevin McReynolds a C, and you have Keith Hernandez a C. But then the triples, Keith Hernandez didn't hit many triples, neither did Howard Johnson, neither did Gary Carter, and so on and so forth. So you have a low letter in triples. Keith Miller had a couple of triples, I imagine, and a few at bats because he has a very high letter in triples. Then you go to doubles. Again, C is okay, D is not so good, B is pretty good. So Strawberry hit a lot of doubles, hit a lot of balls off the wall, I imagine. Dykstra hit a lot of doubles with an A in doubles. Ks, the pitchers who strike or the batters who struck out a lot versus the batters that don't strike out that often. Most Mets struck out a ton, except for Mark Carrion and Kevin Elster. Otherwise, everybody else. Oh, and Greg Jeffries didn't strike out very much. Everybody else struck out a ton. F F F F F D D D D D. Then walks. Pitchers with the batters with the most walks get the highest letters. Howard Johnson had a ton of walks. Strawberry had a ton of walks. Hernandez had a ton of walks. Kevin McReynolds, not so much. Rafael Santana, not so much. Barry Lyons, not so much. And then, of course, Keith Miller, Sid Hernandez. So this is even for pitcher batting as well. Finally, you're going to get to the batting average. It starts off with B plus. A plus, A, B plus, B, C plus, C, D plus, and D, and then finally F. There's no E here, but finally it's F. Now I don't have any D pluses. I don't see any of those, but I'm sure they're here somewhere. We can go to another team and see if there's any D pluses there. There are no pluses on the pitching side, but let's see if there's D pluses. I don't see any D pluses, so they may not even offer D pluses in batting. Let's continue to look a couple more. No, I don't see any D. I see C pluses, and that's as low as it. Then it goes C plus C, and then it goes to D. I don't see any D pluses at all. So I don't think the rating system goes that far. And you get every season from 1871 to 2014, just like this. You can print them all out, and you can bind them, and you can keep the season ready to play. You got to write out the data. Oh, let me go past this to I forgot. Let's go back up to the Mets because I didn't talk about the defensive side of the game. It has pitcher ratings, it has batter ratings, and it's going to have the defensive ratings for the defenders. All right. So here on the right, where you see injury, of course they're going to have. Home runs and the RBIs for players that hit a lot of RBIs. Then you have the jump. You got to get a jump before you get a stolen base. So first you check for the jump, then you pull a card for the stolen base. Then you have your injury. Your starters are usually A's. Now the range, all the players have a range letter, and then they have an error letter. So some players can have a great range, but they get to a lot of balls and they commit a few extra errors. And that's going to be about it. And here you have their stats. It tells you their at bats, their games, their at bats, their home runs, their stolen bases, and that's back to basics rating system. So they have their own at Downey Games. Go to or Tabletop Baseball, I believe it is. You can download the scorecard for the Back to Basics game, and it gives you little boxes so you can write in. You got to write this in, right? You got to write B, D, D, C, D, C plus, and A, and then jump. And then once you get that in there, that's the thing. There's also a program that allows you to make cards for the players. Now I'm a card guy. I love cards. But this doesn't come with cards. You have to kind of make your own cards. So that's the deal with that. But that's all. That's back to basics. That's their rating system. So this is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Check out the Universal Baseball Association Facebook group with all its affiliated groups as well. And I'll talk to you soon.